page itself. And we are live. Awesome.
It's not coming up for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it comes up. 1 second. There we go.
Yes, I see it.
We are up. Yay! Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to our new channel, our new book club official channel, Black Prose Club.
Look at us being official.
Super official. Got a header, have icon, its own channel.
I'm about to prop my up so I can not feel like I'm looking down. Okay. We're good now. But yes. How's everyone?
Let's see. And guys, we already got to 57 subscribers too.
We've already hit past 50? Look, this is faster than my channel ever did.
Mine too. We're gonna be past my channel in no time.
That'll be funny. It'll be like, I'll look at it just be like, dang, our book club hit 3,000. I ain't hit that yet.
Stop. Y'all are too much. Okay, so I'm going to wait to see if we're going to get some more people coming in. Let's see.
I'll post it on Twitter.
Okay. And then I figure we can go ahead and get started. So we're going to keep it a little bit shorter this evening than we usually do.
Unless we end up on a tangent, which is very
I have my snacks.
As always.
What snacks do you have this time, Troy?
I already ate Subway before I came here.
What? Who are you?
I know, right? Normally I'm always munching on something.
I have very healthy Cheetos. 2 bags.
Oh, wonderful.
No,
gotta stay fit in quarantine.
I've given up. Although I did go on like a 2.5 mile walk today. So I'm very proud of myself.
I also went walking right before I came to this live. So that's my
nice
day.
I did not. I was hosting quarantine pages.
What was your turn today?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you usually walk like 3 miles a day though, Brittany?
4.
4. Wow. What is that? Like 2 hours?
No, it's an hour.
Oh, that's not bad.
Okay. Yeah.
I did that during school time, but since everything's online, there's literally no reason for me to leave the house.
Oh, walking 4 hours a day? Or walking 4 miles a day? 4 hours a day? Can you imagine?
4 hours? No. That's a lot.
You were walking to class, but like now there's no walk to class.
Yep.
Dang.
All right. I figure we can go ahead and get started. So we're going to introduce ourselves just for if anyone is new, just in case, especially since we're doing it on this new channel.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Troy Nicole. I run the channel Bookish Waffler and also my journaling channel, Ink Fleur. I'm 24 and I am currently a college student.
All right, I'll go next. My name is Oshale and my channel is Oshi Reads. And I was working up until this pandemic, but right now I am living that quarantine life.
Wow. I'm Brittany. I run the YouTube channel Melanin Eclectic. I also run the e-commerce site melanineclectic.com. And I'm essential, so I'm still working. Yeah.
So, well, that was kind of perfect because I wanted to talk about that first, just quarantine life in general and how it's been for each of us. And if anybody wants to share anything in the chat, I'm more than welcome to as well.
I can go first. So
okay.
I can't go into a lot of detail. I work in the oil business. The oil business never shuts down. It doesn't matter.
That sounds so like Texas oil baronish.
Oh yeah. I mean, Texas is the first state that's going to open. That's a whole other thing. But yeah. So one of the things that people don't realize is that the oil companies and the oil industry in general has a huge tie to almost everything industry wise across all spectrums. So when the oil industry declines, you'll notice that there's a trickle effect in so many different sectors. So they're trying to prevent that, and they want to promote this idea that, under Carrot Top's administration, the oil is going to be fine, like nothing's going to die down. But that's all I can say because, I need my job.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. So, aside from just being stuck inside, I do have to continue school, which has been chaos because I don't really know how you do most of my classes online, which we have not because I have one class that's literature and film, and it's like we no longer have free access to these movies. So then I have to go either pay for Amazon Prime or pay for a subscription service or pay for something else. I just said no and then ended up reading an analysis of one movie and turning in a paper on it. And I never watched a single bit of it. And other than that, I've just been kind of inside because there's really nothing to do, especially over in Maryland because we're like a little petri dish of coronavirus patients. So there's really not much to do except stay in here and go stir crazy.
Yeah. I have had my experiences, I think, is pretty much like a lot of people's, which is when your job closes and you have to go through that whole process of filing for unemployment. And then you have to go through the process of being really concerned about when it's going to get approved, which thank goodness mine's been approved, and then just staying on top of bills. And luckily, I am the only person in my household besides my dogs. I have roommates, but I'm not financially responsible for them. So I can't wrap my brain around what it's like for people who have children and things like that, who have to think about how they're going to provide for them or who have more bills than I do, being just a single person. So luckily it is just me. So I've been able to stay on top of everything and not have to go into my savings. But my job at this point, my state is closed. Well, my particular county is at a stay-at-home order until the end of April. But I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be extended. We have no clue right now. So it's kind of like a waiting game. And I've mostly been staying home. I've been able to get my groceries delivered. I've just been staying busy or trying to stay busy with home improvement project type stuff. But it's been a unique experience. I try not to go out just because people around me, when I went for my walk today, there were so many people out, so many people. And it was hard to social distance because I was on a trail, very narrow, and almost nobody was wearing a mask. It was interesting. I think because maybe in my state, people aren't that concerned because as of right now, I think we just hit a little over 6,000 cases in the entire state. And then in my area, the Research Triangle Park area, we don't have that many cases. So I guess maybe people just aren't concerned. But even when I go to the grocery store, I went 3 weeks ago now almost, nobody was wearing a mask. So it's been interesting.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I see you guys in the chat.
Wait, okay, so here's my question. So the people who are students, like Deja, who says there are so many papers I have to do for my online classes, so my wrist and fingers hurt. I guess, did your workload change? Did your workload get more intense, or are these the same assignments you had before everything shut down?
For me, it was that I had my sociology classes, they all stayed completely the same because all of our work was pretty much online anyway. But for my English classes, things did have to change because I know for my Survey of American Lit class, we had a group digital assignment that we were supposed to do in class. every day until the end of the year with our group, but that had to be canceled and redone to where it's individual. So it's like everything that each person in your group, and it was like 5 of us in my group, were supposed to do individually and come together and do, you have to do it as one single person. And so it's like makes zero sense. So it really wasn't like a change, but more so as the workload that should have been split was all put on one single person. So there really wasn't anything added to my syllabus, but
it just makes your life harder.
Yeah.
Your life harder. And it's so interesting because I'm reading the chat and Deja said that people are partying outside her apartment complex in her building. And Molly's talking about how people in her town are being negligent and she's worried about her grandmother. Like, I don't understand this. I was talking to a friend of mine and her downstairs neighbors are having quarantine parties every weekend. And she's just kind of like, y'all know we're in a pandemic. And they're like inviting her. Like, she's calling them to complain about the noise. And they're like inviting her to come downstairs and party with them. And like, okay, we're next weekend. I see people out in groups all the time. Like, it's crazy. It's so insane. I don't get it.
I went to the store.
Breaking the order. I'm here to report them. No shame. You're not putting my life in danger because you want to be stupid. Nope.
I went to the store and, you know, I live right across from a Safeway. And I mean, there was this couple and they had like 2 toddlers in their stroller, right? And this other couple was walking towards them. And they just started talking like they didn't know each other. They just started talking to each other. One of the guys was all up in the kids' faces doing this. And I was just like,
wait, the other couple that wasn't the parent to the children was in the
Yes, they just came up and started talking and were like pinching their cheeks. I was like, what is going on?
Can you imagine the thrust that you would have done to that man if he got close to your child? Like,
mind you, it's gotten so bad in Maryland that you cannot legally go to a store without a mask on. So if you don't have a mask, you can't get in. They have people outside of each store telling you you can't come in. And so I'm just like, you mean to tell me they're telling you guys not to even go outside without a mask? And he didn't have a mask on. You're all up in these little kids' faces and your parents' faces. I'm like, y'all have a lot of trust with people that I do not contain at all.
Wow. Like, are you, all right. You know, there's a reason I don't have children because I would have caught a case a long time ago in this American because
listen, let someone come up to my nephew all up in his face during this time. It would be a problem.
Like, I saw a lady because I leave once a week to go grocery shopping, and I go as soon as everything opens. So I saw this one lady, she was walking and she had her 2 kids. And then when I tell you these little kids were like masked up on, she had them in the cart and told them not to touch a D thing.
Good.
And like they were just sitting in there with like a switch and like she was just like zooming through the store. And I was like, that's the mood that I would have with children. Like,
right.
If there wasn't a way for me to keep my children like safe at home, like I would be like, all right, touch something, I'm gonna whoop you behind when we get out of the store, wipe you down with hand sanitizer.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have never been so relieved to not have that concern because I know my personality, I would be anxious. Like my children would be like that video that went viral with Naomi Campbell in a hazmat suit getting on the plane. My kids would be each of them would be in a hazmat suit. I would get them from Amazon and they would each be in a hazmat suit. Everywhere we went.
Freaked out about the Naomi Campbell video, and I was like, I mean, I don't wear a hazmat suit, but when I fly, I wipe down my entire seating area with those Clorox wipes that you travel with. And I was like, is that not normal? Because
I've never seen anyone do it anytime I've ever flown, but it makes so much sense. Like it makes so much sense.
And I feel so much that I have priorities. So like I get down there and the lady laughs at me because I literally put my bag up, put my bag in the chair next to it, and I literally pull out the wipes and I'm like, TV, the armrest, the seats, anywhere my hands to touch. No. That's why when I saw that thing, I was like, that's the rich version of me. because, like, she was doing it in first class, and I
version.
We are gonna see a lot more people. That is gonna become accepted now because
Right.
next time I fly, you best believe I'm gonna have my little wipes like with
Like
them. I'm gonna be wearing gloves, maybe even a mask. I'm not sure.
Actually, no, you can get, because I carry, whenever I travel to other countries, me and my friends do too much traveling, clearly, but we carry like we carry like the travel gloves. We have like multiple things of Clorox wipes, and then the wet ones, and then regular wipes, because certain countries you can't use wipes, obviously, but the ones that you can, yeah, like it's like a whole section in my bag that's like devoted to travel clean, because I'm just not about that life. Like,
that's so smart. I'm just reading the chat, and
Molly brought up something that I was trying to figure out like a professional way of discussing, because there is a picture of this girl that has a sign that says her body, her decision, and she doesn't like being forced to wear masks. And then at the bottom of it, it says Trump 2024, and I was just like, or Trump 2020, I think, and I was just like, these are the people that should get corona.
Oh my goodness. Some people are calling it, what is it that Darwin preaches? Not survival of the fittest. I guess kind of survival of the fittest, like kind of like weeding off the weak links. And I'm just like, I get that. I wouldn't want anybody to get this because it's so unpredictable. You've had people who are perfectly healthy come down with it and pass away. But at the same time, when people are so ignorant and so negligent of and uncaring of other people's health, not just their own, it boggles the mind. It really does.
Yeah. So just like, okay, so Molly has got a great question. Do y'all find this has impacted what you've read recently? Whether you're leaning into it and reading more dystopian plague novels, or going the other way and wanting just pure escapism?
This is an amazing question. And it's funny because it ties in perfectly to one of the topics we were going to talk about. But the irony for me is right before this all happened in February, I fell into a reading, because I have reading moods where I want to read like specific type of books or specific genres. In February, right before this all happened, I was in a like apocalyptic fiction mood. So I read like all these apocalyptic books. And then for this to happen literally the next month was eerie. And then it made me not even want to entertain it. Like, I think the first week I was quarantined after my job closed, I watched a movie. I can't remember which one it was that I watched that was like trending on Netflix at the time. It was about a pandemic. It was an older film. It had Dustin Hoffman in it. Whichever one has Dustin Hoffman. It was made in the 90s. So I watched that one, and I was doing a whole bunch of research. I was watching the news every day. But after those first 2 weeks, I just completely disconnected. And now all of my reading is escapism. Like, I don't want to read anything apocalyptic or having anything to do with pandemics, no dystopians, nothing.
Maybe I'm just, we've established in our group chat, I'm just chaotic. So funny enough, I actually have had no problem like removing myself from the idea of reading books about pandemics. Like, I decided that I was going, or like just like dystopia in general. It doesn't have to be specifically a pandemic. The world could, I guess, come to an end for any reason in the book. But I haven't had a problem so far reading it. I don't know why. I guess it's because for me, it's still just, I'm just like, okay, I'm reading it. This is fictional. I'm living in the real world. That's happening similar to it. But it's just like, I don't know. I haven't really been too put off by it. But y'all know how I am, so.
I would say you are chaos in itself. We love you.
You know chaos. Who you are? You are the little Tasmanian devil.
Little Tasmanian.
You're just remember that tornado? But much cuter. But yes.
Thank you.
Since this pandemic started, I've read only 2 books. I cannot read, like, without quarantine pages. I wouldn't even have read the 2 books that I cannot read. I have my whole like one nonfiction book a month. It's taking me 2 months to finish that book. I've been forcing myself to read a chapter a day. I can't get into it. I can watch movies. I can watch TV shows about pandemics, about murder, about people dying. I can watch it. I cannot read. And it's not just dystopian pandemic style books. It's just books in general. I cannot. It's been really hard. Like I'm trying to force myself through Crescent City. Half of it is because I'm not in love with the book, but the main motivator or the main non-motivating factor of it is just like I don't have the urge to read. It's just.
I don't think that that's strange. I've talked to quite a few people that have said that they've lost their motivation to read, and someone on Instagram put it really well on their account. I can't remember who it was, but they were saying that we're going through like a shared mass trauma right now, and you can't really pinpoint how you're going to react, and you can't really be hard on yourself, because I think for us as readers, most of us are so used to turning to reading when something is going on, because it's such like an escapist hobby. But when we're going through a situation like this, that's literally unprecedented, nothing like this has ever happened in our lifetime. So it's kind of like, you don't know how you're going to react to this type of mass shared trauma, right? And for some people, the hobbies or comforts or safe places that they would usually turn to are not going to be giving them that same level of like peace or relief. So you turn to something else. Like, I know you said that you've been playing video games. A lot of people have turned back into like video games, and because it's like you can control the world in the video game to some extent. You can control your character, you can like build things, or you can like get to different levels.
Now. Animal Crossing most people don't even play Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing has shot up in sales because you control every aspect of Animal Crossing at your own pace, at your own time. Everything that happens on Animal Crossing is because you decided that it was going to be a thing. And I don't even think people realize what they were doing when they became obsessed with Animal Crossing, because I have so many people that are like, I've never played Animal Crossing in my life. I've never even wanted to. The game sounded so stupid, but I bought it because everybody's talking about it and I'm obsessed. And I'm like, yeah, because you're screaming that you want some control back in your life. And It's ironic that a game where you're just fishing and trying to pay off the house payment is what's keeping you sane. I'm not lying. That's kind of what the game is.
Really? I've never played it, so I'm curious.
It's honestly very, very like calming, because like, for instance, if you play Mortal Kombat has a storyline, an arc, this super intense thing you have to go through. But then with Animal Crossing, it's like, all I'm doing is trying to build this bridge and giving this guy money so he could build the bridge, and that's it. And it's like, it's very relaxing because there's no like super bad evil going on in this world. There's no
everything
or anything. You're just chilling.
Yeah.
You literally escape to an island, which is what I wish I could do. So
it's kind of like wish fulfillment, right? Like you wish everything was peaceful. You wish everything was in your control. You can kind of make it how you want. Makes sense. So yeah, I mean, for me, I'm like half and half. Like I've been reading, like I remember like right after my job closed, the first 3 days, I read. I honestly, y'all, I did not get out of bed except to walk the dogs. I literally just laid in bed and just read for 72 hours straight, like book after book after book after book. And that's when we talked about this in our chat, but that's when I was in my I really got into bully romances that first week after my job closed.
Look at Brittany's face.
I know, but I was obsessed, and I was just like reading other after
They're good. Brittany is sleeping. They are really good. Okay.
So good. And it was like, I don't know. I don't know why bully romances specifically. I'm sure there's a psychological reason behind that. That's all I read for like 3 days. And then when I finally like got out of that 72-hour period, because I have this theory, and it may not work for everyone, but it works for me in my life. I've noticed like after all the hard things that I've been through in my life, it usually takes me about 3 days to mentally acclimate to my new reality. So whatever like hardships I've been through, like from jobs I've lost or like relationship breakups and things like that, it usually takes me about 3 days for my mind to like, okay, this is our life now. Like this is what we're doing. And so I just read for those 3 days. And then after the 3 days, I was like, okay, now I will be cleaning my entire house top to bottom.
Oh my gosh.
Cleaning the kitchen 3 times a day.
Speaking of cleaning, for those who don't know on this live, I moved into a house the week that America went into this shutdown. So I called myself pre-planning. So I had all of these deliveries scheduled to arrive within the first 3 weeks of me living here. Luckily, I talked the people into delivering my fridge. Oh wait, my fridge behind me there. Luckily, I talked them into doing that because, you know, can't live here without a fridge. Got the washer and dryer. Everything else that I ordered, you know, furniture, things to put stuff away, a dresser, a bed, all of those things.
Mm.
The delivery might be in May for 2 of them. My bed, they just completely canceled that order. So like, if this, you know, you sit there and you try to figure out like, okay, because you said it takes you 3 days. I do not cope well with change, especially change that happens from something that I could not control.
Mm.
So my analysis of the situation is like, it doesn't matter what I do in the situation. I literally can change nothing. And I'm a control freak. I don't like these types of changes. So I have to literally like take my entire being and just detach myself from the whole world. Hence why I'm playing video games. Because I'm like, how can I not fix this? How can I not do this? And the poor delivery people, like, it's like, how can you not deliver my bed? I just want a bed.
And they're like, we just want to live.
Yeah. It's like, quarantine for 2 weeks. Well, I mean, I've been in this house for
You're fine, but
a month officially tomorrow. So it's like, come on, ain't nobody been infected in here because it's just me.
oh my god.
But Illustrated Pages, I have a guest. So I have a mattress that got delivered to my garage the day that everything shut down because I managed to talk them into at least getting into my garage. But that was my guest bed. So I've been sleeping upstairs in my guest bedroom. It's been trash.
Also, real quick, but like a little side note, shout out to Illustrative Pages for doing our icon and header. It's honestly one of the greatest things that is about our whole channel. It's amazing. Check her out on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah. For those who don't follow us on Instagram, then you missed that big announcement. But without Illustrative Pages, we would not have new logo, new branding. We would not have any of it. And I'm obsessed.
Yes. Like, thank you so much, Irene. You did an amazing job. Oh my God. We're obsessed with it. Thank you so much.
But,
hold on.
I need to go back because somebody mentioned something that had me screaming.
Are you talking about the Republican white man falls in love with a black woman trope?
Further up, let me see. Oh, Illustrated Pages. I'm waiting on all the quarantine romances that are going to come out because of this.
Yes.
No, it's going to go from like that whole one bed scenario to being like trapped in quarantine with somebody. That's exactly.
I can't wait.
Oh my gosh. I can't. I cannot.
Also, novelist, I did talk about her books. I think it was like 2 lives ago. And we literally died laughing because, or maybe it was me that was just dying laughing because I was trying to explain the plot to y'all. Because remember, he was like racist.
Oh, yes.
He like fell in love with the black. Remember that? I can't. There, but
describing romances, like I'm like, how do you want to still read this after like?
It's like once you get into it, you have to know what happens. It's like I can't just put this down and not know.
Oh my gosh. That is just, oh my God, I can't. So I guess my next question is, what book are you currently reading now?
Me?
Yes, because you know this shirt, by the way, for those who haven't been a part of our live, this shirt is because of Ursula.
You have to go get you one. Seriously. We'll leave the link.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
leave
post
the link down below.
Monster smut is a phrase because one day in our chat, somebody mentioned it in a live. And then like a week later, O'Shalea's like, so
wait, you know what happened? It was like someone mentioned something in the comments, and I was just like, oh, that's along the lines of that Bigfoot smut. And y'all were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, there's Bigfoot books that is literally Bigfoot porn.
I really can't. That's where I draw the line. I'm okay with aliens. Aliens is probably as far as I'll go. Aliens, that's it. I'm not going past aliens, but no, can't do it.
Oh my gosh. I just, no. Dive into romance.
You don't know what you're missing, Brittany.
I support you guys by wearing the shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Because I'm not. Like, I have issues with books that have romance as like a factor of the story, and it's not even a romance. Y'all want me to dive into romance with aliens?
Yeah, I don't see it happening either.
Just knowing who you are and how you are, I'm just like, Brittany would actually have a fit.
I literally just want you to read the first 3 chapters of the Ice Barbarian series, the first book.
No, ma'am. That one describes me with and he basically like assaulted her, but that was supposed to be romantic. No, no. I cannot
do anything to just see your reaction. I want you to read the first 3 to 4 chapters and then like vlog while you're reading.
When the library comes back up, I would totally do something like that when the libraries open up, because I'm definitely not buying any of them. Like, not even.
Yes. Fair enough. Sherry asked, what's the romance y'all are reading right now? So our book of the quarter is a romance. It's called The Worst Best Man. Can't figure out my camera. By Mia Sosa. So if you haven't started the book of the quarter yet, you still have time. Our live for this book won't be until June. So y'all have time to get into it. It's cute. It's lighthearted.
Brittany's gonna shit a sideways brick. I said Brittany's gonna shit a sideways brick.
So we're all collectively reading this. And then for me personally, I'm trying to think what I've read recently. I recently read the Wright Brothers trilogy from Christina C. Jones. She writes about Black couples. And she is amazing. Everything. I haven't read a bad book by Christina C. Jones yet. So,
and funny enough, we did not realize we were reading like the same author at the same time. So she was reading the boys and I was reading the girls.
Really?
Yeah, because I was reading I Think I Might Love You or something like that, or Want You, something like that. During the time you were reading the Wright Brothers.
Yes. So I just finished those, and then I also have been reading these fairy tale retellings that are actually done really well. I think I talked about it. I feel like I talked about it already. Maybe I haven't. Maybe that's just my imagination, but
they've been on QP.
Probably. Yeah, these fairy tale romances that are basically retellings of fairy tales, and I'll find it in case y'all are interested. But the first 3 books are the retelling of Aladdin, but it's switched. So it's gender switched. So the character who plays Aladdin is a girl, and then the character who plays Jasmine is a boy. And it's fascinating because she ends up entering into a bride search, basically a search for a queen, while she's also trying to find the genie lamp. It's interesting the way the author twisted the story. It's like the girl who's in the Aladdin role enters into a bride search to get into the palace. She is supposedly in a contest to be the next queen for the prince. But really, the real reason that she's in there is she's not really a spy, but she's trying to find the genie lamp because this one sorceress is like, if you don't find this genie lamp for me, I'm gonna kill the people that you love, you know, that type of thing. But it's actually really, really interesting, and the plot ends up really expounding and going in a direction that you don't expect. It's like you think you know what's about to happen, but you really don't. So I really enjoyed it, and it was like the first 3 books, and then I'm on the 4th book right now, and it's this starting the retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So I actually really recommend these. Let me see if I can find it so I can put the author's name in the chat. Let's see.
Well, while she's searching, I'm going to preface this. I have never read a Sarah J. Maas book. Don't come for me. You don't want this smoke. So I've been reading House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. If you participated in any quarantine pages since we started, you know I have been reading this book the entire time we've started quarantine pages. I've got like this. Oh, I've actually made some headway. Okay, so I'm like, didn't even realize I read that much. 574. I obviously am doing a whole makeup book review for this because the cover is very makeup inspiring. So obviously I have to do a makeup book review on it. But my question to everybody that's taking your Sarah J. Maas hardcoreness away, explain to me why Bryce and Hunt couldn't just be friends. Like, why could that have not been a platonic support system? I would love somebody to answer that question without shooting my head off for not loving this book. Because it does read like SVU, so the mystery side and like the whodunit part, I'm very invested. I love all types of books like that. But like this very forced love thing is so awkward that it makes me very uncomfortable. It reads like very terribly written soft porn.
For those who want to know more, Brittany and I are planning an entire live stream where we're going to be delving into Crescent City. So for those who have read it and are interested, haven't read it but are interested in reading it, don't care either way, it's going to be very, very entertaining. We'll see that live coming at some point towards the end of next week, probably. I still need to finish the book.
I mean, I'm still finishing, but yeah, like I want the live to be great, but I want people to take the bias of I love Sarah J. Maas. Like I want them to take that part and just completely shoot that part away, because we need to address the actual writing, because I don't believe that because you're a best-selling author that you get to feed me second drafts and I'm supposed to say it's brilliant. So I would like to have a discussion.
I would just like to say that I can never say that word. Somebody else.
Abominable.
Thank you. Book Girl's little thing in the chat has me dying. She said Sarah J. Maas is not her ministry. That's about to be me. I'd be like, you know what? I really like the Lord of the Rings movies, but you know, his books are just my ministry.
I can't even like sit here and be like, oh, I'm not for Sarah J. Maas. I'm neither here nor there. It's like when she got really popular on BookTube, I considered reading Throne of Glass, but then I went from considering it for 2 years passing, and then all of a sudden there was 8 books, and I was like, wow, okay, that's not happening.
Okay, that's how I felt. I was like, oh, everybody's hyped about, and then it was like book 7. I was like, and the Lord said no.
No. I'm good. I tapped out.
I'm too far back. I've lost it. I can't keep up.
I need to finish the series. I started the Throne of Glass series and the other one that I can never remember the name of.
Court of Thorns and
Court of Thorns, and you know what it is? Because
and Roses.
The title's too long. But I started both of those series. I'm on book 4 of the Throne of Glass series, and I'm on book 3. But it's been so many years. Like I started reading them back in 2016. So at this point, I would have to start over. And that's kind of what's holding me back. Like, I would have to start from book 1 now.
Are you saying that because it's just the tedious part of, you know, trying to catch back up in a series you've already read? Or is it because the first couple books weren't great?
Well, in the Throne of Glass series, the first book, I'm telling you, I honestly feel that if you did not grow up reading historical Harlequin bodice rippers romance, you will not like the Throne of Glass series. I firmly believe that. Either if you did not grow up reading those type of books or you don't like those type of books. Oh, we lost Troy.
Yep.
Hopefully he comes back. Yeah, if you didn't grow up reading those type of books, or you're not like you're not gonna like those type of books anyway, you're not gonna like the Throne of Glass series, because Sarah J. Maas to me writes like a romance writer, like an old school romance writer. Only it's repackaged as a young adult, and it's repackaged as like this, you know, fantasy. But to me, that's how it reads. And I grew up reading stuff like that, and I actually like reading things like that. So I really enjoyed the Throne of Glass series. Now, did it bother me that what is her name? Selena Sardathian or whatever is apparently the most feared and revered assassin like ever in her world, and yet in the first book she never actually assassinates anyone? Yeah, it's a little annoying. But I didn't go into the books to like read, you know, it's not Nevernight. Like I didn't go into it expecting it to be.
I even forewarned you on Nevernight and you were still shook. So we're just like, I'm
focused to my core. So because I didn't go into it with those expectations, I was like, oh, it's going to be like a cutesy young adult book, like fantasy. There'll probably be like a romance. And that's exactly what I got from it. So I wasn't expecting like this huge, epic adventure fantasy story. Now, it does really expand as the series goes on. And I think her character development is actually really, really good, especially with the side characters in that series. Now, the other series, A Court of Thorns and Roses, I actually think is better written. But again, if you don't like romance, if you don't like, you know, those type of themes, you're just not going to enjoy it, because that's really honestly what she writes at the end of the day. She is a romance writer. It may be packaged as fantasy, adventure, all this stuff, but at the core, she's a romance writer.
Period. Oh, yeah, no. I feel that with passion, because I rolled my eyes so many times in this book. I was like, okay, yeah, she's romance. Like, it's romance with a fantasy element. That's basically it. She's great at world building though. Like I feel like I know the city, and the city looks great. I feel like I can see what she wrote. I'm just a person that always says like, what is wrong? Where's the platonic love? Where are the friendships that exist in real life? Like not everybody meets a person and it's like, oh my God, I love you. Let's have sex.
Yeah.
Like, people you meet, you don't have that connection with them. So where are those connections? Where are those relationships in books? Not everybody got to love somebody in a book. Like, well, you can love somebody in a book and not lust after them. Like these books are just right. It's not even really love because you just met them yesterday. So it's like,
I can see you now. Brittany's like, it's been a week.
What was I like that with recently? Because I was hot. I was like, you just met him yesterday. What do you mean you're in love with him? You don't even know his last name. Like,
to me, those insta-lovey tropes only work well if they're in like a high stakes situation. Like, have y'all been kidnapped? Is the world ending? Like, is this a post-apocalyptic situation? Like, it has to be like a high stakes situation, because that makes sense. It's like, well, of course you form this connection. You just cling to it because all this catastrophe is happening around you. But if it's just like a contemporary romance in like 1997 or 2008, like, no, I don't buy it. Like, what's going on? That's my thing.
I'm sorry, Abominable is cracking me up because she's like, I really want to sing that TLC song all the time when I read books.
What about your friends? That's good.
It's like, dang. Because again, I don't hate Crescent City, but I would have loved it if this book had a thing where they became like besties, like really connected friends. Because when they're not doing that creepy, uncomfortable lust thing, because it's not love, they are just lusting the heck out of each other's bodies. When they're not doing that, they have this cute little friendship, and I'm like, oh, play on that. Like, I don't want them to. Please don't make them have this awkward sex scene that you're pushing towards, because I don't want it. Like, I might quit the book if we get there. Just
I can see you now. You're like, okay.
right. It'd be like me reading it, and it's just like, nope.
Brittany, have you ever read a fantasy that had a love interest in it that you actually liked?
Lord.
Actually, here's why I respect the Nevernight series so much. She acknowledges it for what it is. Just sex. She might catch feelings for them at some point, but she also acknowledges that in a separate sense. It's like, it's not like, oh, I love him, I must give him my body. It's like, no, we're gonna go screw real quick. And like, we don't need to talk about our feelings. It's fine. We'll leave it alone. I don't know. I like I'm trying to think, honestly. There's no relationships are ringing a bell for me.
Yeah, I was like, we're gonna be here for a while.
We're gonna be here forever. Like, let me look at my Goodreads and see if there's anyone that pops up.
Oh, wait. You really liked that one book club book that me and Oshale ended up not reading? With the boy who time traveled?
That was a contemporary.
I read that book.
Actually,
you didn't finish it. You didn't finish it in time for our live.
Did I? Oh, I finished it after.
Yeah. Actually, yes, but I liked that one because it was literally just two normal Black kids. And that was over like what, 6 or 7 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And like his emotions seemed weird only because he had gone back to repeat the same thing over and over. So his feelings never left. But
Opposite of always.
Opposite of always. Yes, there we go.
I'm scrolling right now through the books that I've read. War Girls is a book where I actually really loved the relationships because there was love relationships, there was a sister relationship, there's friend relationships, but I actually felt like the love relationship in that book, I felt like it was actually real. Like when I saw them interacting and they didn't actually announce that they were going to be lovers, I knew they were going to be lovers. Like very, very far, very close.
So you like it when it's like organic and it makes sense, and then you like more of a balance, like let it not just be the love relationship. Let's see her other relationships in her life or his life.
Yeah, let's not make her weak because she's in love. Like I can't stand when they create the female character to be this strong, badass who takes nothing from nobody, and then she gets a little love and she's like a melted like candle who can't like function anymore. It's like, dang.
Yeah.
Like love is debating, but let's not pretend like the person's got to completely be a different person to be loved. So
makes sense.
Agree.
You mean a relationship where their love actually makes them better and stronger? Wow.
Yeah. A lesson for another podcast. I highly recommend War Girls. I should also point out I'm a huge Tochi Onyebuchi stan, so take that.
He's lovely.
Yeah, I'm a huge stan.
I love him.
I have not found one that I was like in love with.
I love when you love the books and then the author is also just amazing.
Yes. It's like, thank you for being a decent person. Thank you so much.
I try not to follow authors. I don't want to know. Just please don't ruin a book for me.
I've been taking the Twitter break since all of this, actually. Like, it's been kind of nice. But then, like, I don't think we've had any. I don't think we've had any Twitter drama in terms of books. I mean, a lot of my books that I was excited to read have been pushed back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to segue into. I'm permanently on a Twitter break because I can't with Twitter. I really just can't. But I feel like Twitter is one of those things where you go on there and everything's fine, everything's going well, and then all of a sudden, the bomb explodes and everybody's angry and everyone's mad and someone's getting canceled, and I'm just like, I can't. And then it's like rinse, wash, repeat. But I did want to talk about the books that have been postponed. Luckily, thank you so much, Jesus, that Elizabeth Acevedo's book is still on track next month. Your girl has it pre-ordered. You know, Amazon did say that some things are going to come later due to COVID, but it's okay. I still have my pre-order. It's good. I cannot.
The only one that didn't get pushed back. Actually, no, All Boys Aren't Blue, I think is also still scheduled to come out this month. I'm not sure. I think that's also one that got pushed back, which again, like all the books, actually, I don't know. I need to go look because there's a couple of books that I was like, yes, and it was like, nope, nope. Ray Bearer, I think, is another one that got pushed back.
It was. What was that water one? It had water in the title.
I'm scrolling. I'm trying to find A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow.
That was pushed back to next year.
That pushed back.
On one hand, I understand it because their publishing houses are actually doing them a favor, unlike the authors that are going to have to debut anyway, because they're not going to be able to promote the book. So they're not going to be able to do like the press tours and the book signings and go to the cons and do the speaking engagements. And that's really what drives book sales, is if you're able to go to like to the radio stations and the press junkets and like promote your book and go to the book signings and go to the bookstores and all that. And it's like, if you're not able to do that, that does take, and you're not already an established author with a solid fan base, if this is your debut year or was supposed to be, it's detrimental to the sales and your success ultimately. So I understand why some of the publishing companies, for some of the authors, push theirs back to next year. But then I feel bad for the authors who are new, like they're debuting this year and they can't be pushed back and their books are coming out anyway. And so I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit and segue into book cons.
So wait, it's BookCon, Book Expo, BookNet Fest.
I'm sure there are a lot of other cons. Like, don't they have the whole what's the one that happens in South Carolina every year? And then they're also
that one, Y'all
Fest. There's also Y'all West, which happens on the West Coast. Those two usually happen like a little bit later-ish, like September.
Yeah, well, I feel like that one they haven't said anything about canceling it, because I had plans to do all types of Comic-Cons that actually started last month, but every single one of them is canceled. So that's interesting. It's like some of these authors, I want to go and like pre-order their books, like the ones that don't have the opportunity to push it back. Like I kind of want to go pre-order their books, just because if their books don't do well, are they going to be penalized and like not be? A lot of POC authors were making debuts in the next couple months.
Yes.
So it's like they already don't get enough love as it is because they're not seen as marketable. And then on top of this, some of them are still going to have to put out their new book during this time and not thoroughly promote it. And it's like, so they're going to use that as an excuse to not publish them again?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. There is the social distancing book con. I think I'm saying it right.
Did somebody explain this to me?
Yeah. So I heard about it on Bethany's channel. I think her channel name is like Beautifully Bookish Bethany or Bookish. I can never remember her channel name, but I heard about it on her channel. And essentially it's called the Social Distancing Book Festival. And it's basically going to be online. It's on April 25th. And it's all the authors who were debuting this year. Most of them are debuting this year. And their events were canceled. So they brought all of these authors together and they're going to do online panels. So like a whole bunch of booktubers came together and are running it together. And they're going to be different panels on different people's channels at different times on April 25th.
Oh, I need to get this schedule because yeah.
They have an Instagram page. I'll write it in this chat. I'm going to find the correct way to say the name of it. But let's see. Social Distance Book Fest, April 25th. So they have a Instagram page. I don't think that they have a website or anything, but I'll put it in the chat if you're interested. interested.
Hmm.
I'm definitely going to be tuning in that day.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ooh, there's also a y'all stay at home panel for y'all West, but it seems to be more for writers. Oh, that's the one that LaSalle, is that her name?
Lizelle, yeah.
I think
Lizelle.
that's the panel in.
No, Lizelle's going to be a part of the Social Distance Book Fest.
Oh, okay. Because I saw her talking about that, and I was like, I'm obviously waiting for her book, so I need to see what she has to say.
I know. That's what, I mean, I heard about it from Bethany's channel, and then I was so intrigued, and then I went ahead and followed them on Instagram, and every day they post like the authors that they're going to be featuring and talking to. Beautifully Bookish Bethany, that's her channel name. But she's one of the organizers with a couple other booktubers. So that is going to be on April 25th. I don't have any more information, but I'm pretty sure if you go over to Beautifully Bookish Bethany's channel, she'll probably have a video up giving more info.
Yeah. Okay. Novelist said she can't stand Zoom. Listen,
It's very convenient.
Zoom is a very security-based, security compromised platform. I totally get that. But I think that's the only one where you can do very, very large groups without having to go behind a paywall.
And that's where we're doing quarantine pages. I know we've each individually, Brittany and I, talked about it on our socials, but we are involved in a project right now called Quarantine Pages. And essentially we're involved with 5 other booktubers, and it was organized and put together by Injiri of Onyx Pages. And essentially it's an hour of silent reading each day, and it's different times for different days. And if you follow us on any of our socials, and I'm sure you've seen it, we've had it on Twitter as well, and it is through Zoom, and it's basically you just join us for an hour of silent reading. So if y'all haven't had an opportunity to join us, we've been having a great time. We've been having some great discussions, meeting some interesting people.
We've been having some special guests coming in now. Like we had Isis from Sister Sci-Fi on today. We have themed days that we're trying to plan. Like, if you need inspiration to read, like there are different times every day, the different hosts every day. I wasn't going to mention this, but since Molly mentioned it, we were also on Forbes about it. So
yes, we were featured on Forbes. So I think I posted the article on my community page. But yeah, so we are definitely really enjoying it. We're going to be continuing it through the end of this month and into May. As long as we are quarantined and in a pandemic, we will keep it going. And we, like Brittany said, we are going to be having some special guests and special themes and things coming up. So of course, we'll let y'all know as that information gets released.
Ooh, that brings up like an entirely different thing. So here's a question. This segues into it. How do you guys feel about tags and readathons that are themed around pandemics and the quarantine? That's my question.
That's a good one.
I just can't wait to see the comments.
Honestly, I think there's a difference between how do I put this? I think there's a difference between capitalizing off of something and creating a safe space for people to engage in a way that either distracts them from what's going on or is able to help them deal with what's going on. I think there's a difference between the two, and I think sometimes the lines can be blurred. But for example, again, Book Twitter had an issue with people doing things like, oh, my social or my self-isolation vlog or my quarantine vlog, my quarantine reading vlog, my quarantine this, my quarantine that. And there were some people on Book Twitter who had some issue with that. And they were like, oh, people are just trying to capitalize off of this time. And I'm just like, how are you trying to capitalize off of something if this is an experience that you're living through? And you already post videos It's not like you just made a channel. It's not like the pandemic happened at 12 p.m. At 12:01, you were creating your YouTube channel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just irks me.
My equivalent of a mic drop. This.
But we are here to share our experiences. Yes, we talk about the books that we like, but more than anything, we connect as a community, as individuals. Like, I know the people that are subscribed to my channel personally are subscribed to me. Okay, yeah, maybe they like to hear me talk about books, but also they like me as a person, and that's why they keep coming back. And of course, I'm going to share pieces of my life, especially in vlogs. That really annoyed me so much. And I'm just like, let me not. I'm gonna go into a rant. I'll keep it at that.
Joy, you can go next. You know I have lots to say.
Okay. For me, I guess it's just like I'm the type of person who's just like, if something's in my subscription box that I personally like, I may like the content creator, but that video specifically may not be for me, then I just won't watch it. Like, for me, I'm just like, oh, okay, I don't really care to watch that. So I'm not going to unsubscribe to them. I mean, if you want to unsubscribe to somebody because their content changes or they're doing something that you don't like, you have every right to then unsubscribe to a person. But I also feel like you can't tell someone how to cope with an experience that is their experience, because if someone's, version of coping with this is that, they're going to show you their full routine from 6 a.m. to midnight of how they're living their lives during this time, then that's them. That's them. You don't have to watch the video. If you want to then unsubscribe to them because you feel that way, then unsubscribe to them. That's just how it is. You don't have to watch every video that comes online. You don't have to participate in every tag, every wrap up, every readathon. That's not what that's for. You have a choice to opt in or opt out. So if that's not for you, then that's fine. But if other people are enjoying it, then I'm just like, you're not hurting nobody, then do whatever you want.
I also feel that it's disingenuous to say that you're subscribed to somebody and let's say you're subscribed to Naisha's channel, and you've been subscribed to Naisha's channel for a while now, whether it be several months, several weeks, or several years. So you've watched enough of her content to kind of get a feel for her character, her personality, her likes, her dislikes, all of that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Then let's say that she does something controversial or something that people have jumped on a bandwagon, have decided that this is wrong and this needs to be canceled, whatever that may be. I feel like it's very disingenuous as a subscriber or supporter to all of a sudden get on that bandwagon and join the rest of the people with their pitchforks when you supposedly know this person and their character from their videos. Like, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, there are a lot of people that I watch, like, for example, the whole quarantine vlogs and things like that. I go in and out because there's certain days where I'm curious, where I'm like, yeah, I wonder how this person is dealing with quarantine. And then there are other days where I don't want to think about the fact that I'm quarantined and I do want to escape and watch other content. But it's like, I know this person that I'm subscribed to, so I'm not looking at them making these vlogs as they're doing it with malintent, because I know their character. I'm like, well, I'm not automatically going to think, oh, they're trying to capitalize off of this time. They're trying to get views. They're trying to get clicks, because I'm subscribed to them. I know their character. I know what kind of content they usually make. I know who they are. So I'm not going to just jump on a bandwagon and just be like, ah.
Yeah.
I will get off my soapbox now.
Well, I was just going to say, and I'm going to say this nicely, so this is how much I mean this. I personally believe that the internet and social media have given people balls that they've never had before, because there's no consequences to the words that they're saying. So they can come at you crazy on social media because they know they can't get box slapped in real life because there's no consequences to their words. So when you go online, like, I've been asked a couple of times, because I've talked about the fact that I'm reading Atomic Habits. I did a vlog and I was talking about things that I'm learning from it. And I've gotten some messages where it's like, well, how are you applying the Atomic Habits to this quarantine? Like, can you do a vlog specifically about that? And I literally stopped and was like, well, I don't want to do it because I don't feel like having to cuss nobody out online for coming at me sideways for say something about quarantine, but then it's like, but this is literally my life. And I've already been doing this content. Like the title changes every time I post because my life changes every time I post. Or what we're doing, even with this, like we could have called this a quarantine live, but because why would we draw that kind of attention to ourselves? Because again, some people are so miserable that they have to send the misery to other people, even in a time where everybody is literally trying to ignore the misery. Because truth be told, staying in my house by myself is absolutely horrible and I hate it. But misery loves company. So I've literally just been, well, okay, wait, I should pause. Now that tag was terrible.
Which one?
That COVID one, the one where it was like, oh, I can't remember the questions. We talked about it. That it was one tag that came out, and I was like, why is everybody freaking out? It's just a tag. And then I saw the questions, and then not to mention that tag came out right when all of this started, so it was like way too fresh to have that kind of tag out, and it was just like,
it was bad.
I'm not saying you can't post a tag. I'm just saying read the room.
It wasn't even necessarily the tag. The questions were very insensitive. That was my thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like read the room. Even Reading Rush, they changed some of their questions because their original questions were very, I mean, to some people they read off as very insensitive, and it was like I could see that because read a book about where the earth is destroyed by a pandemic. Why would I want to read a book like that right now? Like, come on.
Can I say one of the questions?
Yes, please.
Name your favorite fictional book with a virus or spreadable infection.
That's just bad. Like, come on, read the room.
Another one. If you ended up getting sick, what book or books would be your comfort reads?
I forgot about that question.
Wasn't there one about death? Or like the death toll or something like that?
If there was, they must have changed it. The only one that's like, ooh, name an underappreciated book that you hope becomes viral in the booktube community someday. I will stop there. I will stop there.
But that is a perfect example of, again, it's a tag. We make tags for just about everything. So making the tag was not wrong. Maybe should have asked somebody for a second opinion about the questions. Because I don't want to think about getting sick during a pandemic. And then, oh, well, if you're sick, what books would you read while you're dying? I don't want to think about that kind of stuff. Like,
especially in the case that if you got the coronavirus, you'll be too busy like coughing up half your lung. What book are you reading? I don't understand.
Read the room.
It doesn't make any sense.
I found it. Sorry about my Cheeto hands. There are actually two tags. There's the COVID-19 tag, and then there's actually the coronavirus book tag. And it said, serious mortality rate.
Okay, I knew it.
A book with a significantly noticeable body count.
I'm sorry.
I laugh because it's so awkward. Because it's like, how did y'all y'all sat down and said, "Oh, bet. Let's ask that question right now."
Okay. You know what it is? It's like I wouldn't do this book tag, but at the same time, I'm not gonna like downvote his video. You know what I mean? Like that's his way of coping with what's happening. Either you want to watch it or you don't. But I mean, I wouldn't do the book tag personally, but
it's just poor timing. It's like I get it. That might be a coping mechanism for them. They might have to find humor in this to survive. So I'm not going to bash them. I'm just gonna say maybe this particular one you should have just done with your close friends and not put this out there for everyone, because thinking about a book with a high body count, it's like,
yeah, for me, No.
For me personally, I would not watch that video. That would be an immediate scroll by. Even if that was somebody I was actually subscribed to, that would be an immediate scroll. Like, nope.
Yeah.
I would have literally saw my subscription box and been like, come on, man, and then move past it. Like, I just would have just let that go because
that's another thing. The power of the scroll is powerful. Utilize it more. Talk less, scroll more. Like, if you don't like something, not everything requires a comment. More importantly, like, you have no right to attack somebody based off of one scene in one day, in 1 second of their life. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what their coping thing is. If people spent less time trying to go Twitter viral for reading somebody, we would probably have less depression and anxiety in the booktube community as a whole, first of all. And maybe it would give people the opportunity to have actual conversations, because conversation is not a thing that happens, especially in the booktube world. Like, if you're not doing like I guess, yeah, you know, Molly's reading said it best, choosing your battles is a virtue. Yeah. It's like, know what you can handle and be an adult about yourself. Stop expecting everybody else to nurse and baby your triggers. Handle your own triggers. And if more people took that to heart, we wouldn't have so many canceled people every day on book Twitter.
I mean, I just feel like cancel culture has become laughable because there are no actual critiques. There are no learning points or talking points that can actually enact real change for somebody. It's ironic to me because people want to cancel people because they're toxic or they're bullying or they're not PC enough or whatever the reason is that they want to cancel the person. But then they use the same tactics that they're accusing that person of, right? They bully them. They heap verbal abuse upon this person. They, completely slander them online, and it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Like I said, the internet has given people balls they never would have had in real life. Because imagine if somebody walked up to you and told you were trash. How many people would still have teeth? Because nobody would just walk up on me and talk trash. I would pop them in the mouth before I realized I did it. But
there'd be a lot of gums. A lot of gums around. Oh my God. That's so true.
Novelist. She said, I'm so sorry. This is coming towards my dark humor. But who knows if they did it with their friends, it'll probably still be drama because those private group chat screenshots go viral.
Yes. We always joke about that in our group chat. We're just like, yo, if any one of y'all ever got mad at any one of the other one of us and went down that rabbit hole and posted our screenshot, we would all be canceled.
Oh my God.
Luckily, I'm a human and I don't believe in that type of stuff. Like, I make sure there have been times where I've deleted our chat conversation because I was like, if my phone
I definitely have.
Like, we don't need it. Also, abominable. No, Twitter fingers do not turn to trigger fingers. We are adults.
Yes.
So my lawyer says, I can't legally say yes to that. It's like, no. They would have to put me in a particular form of danger where I felt threatened and needed to defend myself.
I can't. We would have a lawyer for this club just for Brittany.
My sister. I helped her pass the bar, so she's kind of just my lawyer at all times now.
Too much. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we have one more thing to talk about. Throwback-a-thon.
Yay! I'm so excited this year. It's gonna be so lit, y'all. We have some great things planned for you guys. We're so excited.
So we're pushing it to the summer. We were gonna do it in May, but there's been a lot of new readathons and stuff that have been popping up. during this. Yes, Abominable. Lawyer Tori is coming. But anyways, June is when we're doing the Throwback-a-thon. So it will be the week before we do our live for that month. So keep a lookout. Did we tell them the theme yet? Or are we still keeping that a secret? All right, we're still keeping that a secret. But it's going to be so fun because honestly, these Throwback-a-thons need to become they're going to be a regular thing because they're actually more fun to make the prompts for.
So fun.
It's like when we do them, we make the prompt and we have so much fun putting the prompts together. So hopefully, yeah. Also, on the Teespring, they're on the site, on the Melanin Eclectic Teespring, there is a storefront now that is specifically for a Black Prose book club. So all of our t-shirts and stuff from the book club will be under that storefront now. So it won't be mixed in with any of the Melanin Eclectic stuff. It's its own separate thing. And don't worry, novelists. So we've come up with this thing about to kind of compensate from where we are because we know the library is not open. We know we don't have access to getting books. So the prompts are no more you have to read a book from your past. It's just find a book that meets the prompt. So even that, it doesn't have to be a book that you read as a kid. It can be a book that you want to read now because we know access to all the stuff that we normally have is just not there. So the prompts were switched around a little bit so that we could better accommodate our current situation. So don't worry about trying to buy new books. Don't worry about the library. All these prompts should work with the apps and all that other stuff that we've got. Oh, yay. June works for better for you. See, we should have did a poll, but June seems to be are there any major readathons in June?
Not that I know of. I'm sure there'll be some that we can't.
I thought the reading rush was in June, but they moved it to April.
It's happening right now this weekend. They moved it to this weekend, and it was just like 3 or 4 days, I believe. Stay at home reading rush. Yeah.
Oh, also, if I forgot, we do have new people. So we started this thing last year where we call it the Throwback-a-thon, where we pick some kind of theme based on our childhood. And from that theme, we make prompts for reading, and we make Instagram prompts. Sorry, I just read the comments. We make Instagram prompts and reading prompts based off of that theme. And it normally lasts for a week. And it normally lasts for a week. And like we try to participate. We're going to try to get some other books in it this time so we can kind of spread more of the word. But we're very excited. We did not have to bring Teddy Riley into the situation.
Ooh, child.
Also, I would just like to say, Abominable, that The Wind Blows Backwards was definitely one of my favorite books as a preteen. And you are the very first person that I've actually ever heard, like that I've seen that knows what that book is. Because I'm always like, yeah, and nobody ever knows what that book is.
I have no idea.
You just made my night.
Your audio does sound better than Kenny's.
I cannot.
I just got what you said.
Listen, did you guys watch that last night? Like, can we just
Yes!
talk about that?
Unfortunately.
I'm like, what is happening?
That was supposed to be like the blackest auntie uncle concert I was going to be seeing on my Instagram, and it turned into this. Like, I saw so many memes on Black Twitter where it was just like, it was like old men at the computer where it was like Teddy Riley's tech support, and it's like these old men at the computer trying to take like a floppy disk into the CD-ROM, and just like,
oh, what an embarrassment!
Like Babyface, like he deserves an award for his patience because, like when it clicked on, and I was like, why is there a mic? And I was like, does he have a band? Is there a DJ? What's going on?
That was ooh.
All I kept thinking last night was to think he had the audacity to want to put this behind a paywall.
Right.
And that's when people paid money for what happened.
Would have been livid.
I was like, oh no, Teddy, no. My time was not wasted, novelist. Those comments had me screaming. Nia Riley, Teddy Riley's daughter, was in the comments just putting laughter emojis. Like, I was like, go help your daddy. What is this? Why are you laughing at your daddy's live?
He was like, I'm going to use this for the rest of your life.
And Tony Braxton was going in.
I
was like, what did Teddy do to you in your past where you are dragging him like this? But yeah, Babyface was so calm. And like the look on his face was like, can you get it together, please? Because he was like, well, it's your mic. Sir. When Babyface plays his music, everything is fine. When Babyface talks, everything's Gucci. When you speak and play your music, it gets quiet and then it like blares into your ear. That is not Babyface's fault. Everything that was yours.
It was one of those things where you're like, this could only have been brought to us because of the pandemic.
Right. Like, did you see when Timberland and Swiss beat, they got on a live right after it? And they were like, oh man, we're so sorry about that. Like, he's like, we put this together, everything's great. And Swiss was going in. He was like, Teddy need to remember less is more. Like, we didn't need all that extra in there. Like, we just needed this. Like, we are doing this for the people. And like, the people just want to hear your music. Like, you didn't have to go in and do all that. And I was like, oh, so I'm here for all of this. Babyface made a video shortly after, and he was like, I'm so sorry, it's postponed. And then like Teddy made a video after that talking about we had technical difficulties, and all the comments was like, who is we, Teddy? Who is
Oh man.
I was
built for this.
I wasn't ready, but like I thought I was gonna enjoy myself last night for a completely different reason, but I ended up laughing so hard last night reading comments and memes because the internet works fast.
So fast.
Like,
he's not going to be able to live this down for the rest of his career.
No, it's been rescheduled. I think it's been rescheduled to, hold on. I think it's been rescheduled to tomorrow or something like that. So this is rescheduled number 2. I mean, the first time was fine. Like, they rescheduled it because, Babyface's entire family was dealing with COVID. So that was completely understandable. But I think, the rematch this Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Teddy Riley versus Babyface.
Lord.
Yep. I just needed him to sit down in his studio because we all know he's rich enough to have a studio like Babyface. Just sit down in his studio and play the tracks like Babyface was doing. And I like that they were having like conversations. Like, like, oh, I remember when you did that song. Yeah, I remember when you did that song. I'm like, that's cute. But don't disrespect Babyface like that for a second time, Teddy. He did not deserve it. He was literally sitting there like a king, sipping on some lemonade.
Well, it's all going down. The good news is that people are going to come back and tune in because they're hoping for another train wreck.
Yeah.
Because that's why I'll be there. I'm not even going to lie.
Oh, my goodness.
Babyface, so I was like, Babyface is going to win anyway. But last night I was like, Babyface deserves to win just from being like so calm about this.
Impatient. Yeah, I'm putting up with it all.
Because instead of having a hype man, he should have had a tech man.
Straight up.
I was like, why is this old man with this kangaroo hat in the background? Like, this is so I was just like, oh no, this is fantastically terrible. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I just forgot about that when I saw that comment. That just brought back all the happy feelings from yesterday. Now, are you gonna watch tomorrow night, or are you completely over it? Because I mean, I'm going back just for the memes. Everybody's laughing at all her comments because she was going in calmly. I'm trying to think. Did we miss anything on our to speak list?
We managed to cover everything.
Look at us.
I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Right? We were so together, guys.
We're eventually going to start podcasting too, guys. I know that's been a requested thing. We are going to officially start that at some point, since we have wonderful writers in this group, not me, the other two. So like we can do like scripts and things and try to be like professional. Because if we can do a 2-hour live, we can definitely do a podcast.
Yes, we
You
can.
don't have to, get on YouTube. You'll be able to just, as soon as we figure out how that works, you should be able to just do it on your normal podcast and stuff. Not Hillary Duff.
I saw that. I'm like trying to help you together. Why am I like hearing the song too in my head?
Me tue.
Right?
I was thinking the song in my head. Illustrative Pages, the podcast is going to be on. So we're gonna record the podcast, and we're also gonna put it on the channel, and regular podcasting sites and stuff. But that's what we created this channel for. So like everything that deals with our book club and our podcast, everything will be on this channel as well. So there'll be multiple ways that you can listen and view. And we thank you for everyone who's already subscribed. Like, we've gotten 50-something subscribers in a couple of days. I feel loved.
Yes. And if you're watching and you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll always be notified of any content that we post on this channel.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll announce what's happening for next month on our Instagram. So we just need to confirm some things first, and we'll announce it because the second month means we're having a special guest.
Yes, we'll let y'all know well ahead of time who our special guest is going to be and what we'll be discussing. And if you haven't already, go get you a copy, okay? I don't know if you'll be able to access it via ebook on any library platform, but you can definitely look. But yeah, go get you a copy so you can be on time with us for our live in June.
It's on iCloud. I have it saved. I haven't, because I have to decide to read that later. But it's on iCloud as an ebook and an audiobook. I just need to double check while I'm saying this. Yes, an ebook.
And most libraries are still letting you check out online. So
have fun with it. Thanks for coming. This was great.
This was awesome. Thank you so much for joining us for our first live of Q2. And we will see y'all next month. Our live for next month, I'm trying to see what date is the third Sunday. It's going to be on May 17th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see y'all next month.
Bye.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Black Prose Book Club, and make sure you follow us on Twitter. I believe we are just Black Prose Club on Twitter.
Yep.
All right. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Thanks for stopping by.
Stay safe.
Yes, please stay safe. Bye.
Bye.